So if you've just started your own business or you are actually thinking of running your own business, I think one of the most common questions we have is, how do I even start? How do I start? What's that first step I need to take without wasting any time? A lot of people might ask, should I build a website first? Do I make a logo? Do I have to start posting somewhere? In my opinion, these aren't the questions that you need to be asking if you're just starting out. So we're going to look at what are the steps that you need to take first, what I did with my own business, and find out ways that you can apply it to your own business. It's a very simple process. What I did when I was starting out my own business like a month ago is I got a piece of paper. I wrote down everything that I wanted to do, everything that I could offer to my potential clients. So this process is supposed to be messy. It's not supposed to be like, oh, I'm going to write out a really neat to-do list. No, it's supposed to be messy. So write down everything that you want to do with your business. And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave it. I know it doesn't sound logical. Once you write everything down, so think of it as like a brainstorming. So you write everything down and you leave it, go have a cup of tea, go sleep, go take a nap, come back. With a fresh mind, you're going to look at it. You're going to read them all, and you're not going to read it from your own perspective, but read it as like a third person would. So you're looking at this piece of paper for the first time. Start reading them as a new person and see what kind of patterns you see from it. So there must be some kind of recurring theme. That's going to be the core of your business, core of your brand. So how did that work for my business? How did that process, what did it look like? So I actually went through multiple rounds of it. It wasn't just like one paper, I'm done, like I figured it out. It was actually multiple rounds of failure, like trial and error. And it's still going, to be honest. So from the get-go, I knew my product, what I wanted to sell, is my knowledge. The thing I couldn't figure out though, the thing that took me a while to figure out was, what kind of knowledge am I going to sell and how am I going to package it? And how am I going to deliver that to my target audience was my conundrum. At the beginning, my theme was social media consultant. But when you think about it, it's just another job title. So every time I tried posting different contents to reflect my service as a social media consultant, it just felt off. I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't tell myself, or I couldn't convince myself why I was making these contents. And I realized it's because I don't have my core, like foundation strong. And after thinking about it again and again, coming back to my paper again and again, it kind of like hit me. I found the core purpose that I wanted to provide through my service, which was around the saying of, give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day, teach a man how to fish and you'll feed him for a lifetime. So that was my approach to my service. So rather than providing hacks, which is a lot of social media services agencies do, I thought, okay, you know what, I'm not going to teach them the hacks, I'm going to teach them how to fish. So that was my approach. This, like I said, it took me multiple stages. It's still like work in progress. So this is going to take time. One of the reasons why it's going to take time is because a part of it is you have to think about who your audience is. So your aspiration doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be profitable. What I mean by that, if there's no one there to buy your product or service, then it's not going to be a viable business, right? So you have to ask, will people actually pay money to buy my stuff? You also have to think about, why should they choose my product over my competitors? So these are the things that you need to think about. A lot of business coaches and marketing coaches out there call this the avatar. They tell you, like, research your avatar. You have to come up with this person, the ideal client that you want to serve. What they don't tell you is that when they say, oh, find their pain point, you have to think from their perspective rather than going, oh, okay, so this is my ideal client. They might have this and that pain point. No, that's not what you do. You have to really know their pain point by living their life. So you have to be them is the most difficult part here. My thought process was business owners are struggling with marketing, so they'll want to hire a consultant to make their lives easier. That was such naive thinking, because when I went on to do some more research, that's not what I found. If you're struggling to kind of like hack into your ideal client's head, where you can start is Reddit. Reddit's such a great place. So I went on Reddit, subreddit small businesses, I think, and then I typed in marketing. I didn't even type in anything fancy, just marketing. And I went through the posts where people looked really unhappy. They were there to complain. So I kind of read through 20, 30 posts, and it didn't take long. There's like this recurring pattern among them. And I quickly realized that they don't really trust marketers because they don't think it's working. They're skeptical about marketing, again, because they don't think it works. And the last problem was that they don't have the budget. They don't have the marketing budget. One of the comments that I read was, when a small business tells you that they have a budget of $1,000, that means they only have 300, and even then they're not willing to spend it on you because they still think it's going to be too expensive. Yet they don't want to do it themselves. They don't have they can't do it themselves because they don't have the time and the resources. To tackle this problem, I had to put myself in their shoes. So I had to sit myself down and think, okay, if I am one of these business owners, and if I were in their shoes as well, I wouldn't want to spend like 300 quid on someone I don't know. What would I do if I were in their shoes? I would actually go for the easy and quick solution, right? I would go for like another hack that's provided by another social media agency, social media consultant, or like coaches out there. That's when I knew what the problem was. So this is when I put my offerings with the problem. So I matched them together. And because I know that hacks aren't solutions to the problems these people are having, I thought, okay, then what I can do is I'll make the contents to change their perception, which is to fix their root problems, and how to fix them from ground up was my solution. But the hard part here is that there is no one magical solution. So there's no one size fits all kind of approach here. What do I mean by that? There are so many different ways of providing solutions, and you have to try everything until you find the right thing, the one thing that works for you and for your clients. In my case, I know who my audiences are, and I know what I want to provide, what service I want to provide. In this case is free YouTube videos where I provide easy to digest information about marketing so they can make more conscious decisions without wasting marketing budget. But how am I going to package that? How am I going to deliver that is an entirely different question. Am I nailing my content? No. Because at this stage, I'm still learning to become my target audience, my customers, right? Like me, you will probably fail multiple times before you actually get it. Then what do you do? What do you do when you fail? So what if it doesn't work? Just try it again. My first and my last video was 6 minutes long. It took me 3 full days to film it, edit it, and post it. You might be like, okay, why did it take so long? Well, because I've never tried this before and I'm learning it. Interestingly, people only watch 36 seconds of it on average. So it's obvious, it's clearly not working. There's something wrong with this video, right? So I tried to see where I went wrong, why I went wrong. I realized that I was filming what I thought was important compared to what my avatar wants. So my audience wants something that's more relatable and applicable, something that actually worked on someone, so they need to see the living proof. So I decided to switch my angle because my previous video was about biggest marketing conceptions that's hurting small and independent business owners. So I thought, okay, let's switch my angle. Rather than providing them why they're doing something wrong or why something isn't working, let's just share my process, because I'm starting from zero as well, just like them. So if I show them how to apply these concepts to my own business, then it's going to be easier to understand and it's going to be more trustworthy, right? That's what I'm doing right now. It's still a work in progress. I'm still making tweaks. I'm still like monitoring what everything does. And I only have like, what, 2 followers, and they're both my friends. When you think about it, when you have small audience, it's better for you at this stage, I think, because you've got nothing to lose. So you can be more bold about the changes you make. The word is your oyster, which I think is a funny phrase, but seriously, you can do whatever you want. You can use it as an experiment lab and just try different things until something works. It's just like writing a resume. Rarely people will hand in like one resume, like apply for one job with one resume and get the job. Well, certainly it doesn't work that way in 2025, right? So you're going to have to tweak your resume multiple times to get the job you actually want. So think about it that way. You edit it until you get the job. Do the same with whatever you're delivering it. But in this process, don't be afraid to be messy and fail fast. I think these are the things that Callaway and George Alexander said, like be messy and be like fail fast. I call it embracing the chaos, because in the beginning, you're not going to be good at everything. Failure is expected, right? So embrace your chaos. And second most important thing is don't try to invent something new. 80% of the things that we consume are not original when you think about it. It applies to everything like products, services and ideas, movies, whatever. 80% of them are just different versions of the same thing. Mobile phone. It does the same thing, it's just different design. Like Bumble and Tinder, like dating app, they have the same concept. They're just, different interface and different features here and there, but the core ideas are the same. Try to find a new angle of something that already exists and add your sauce. Your sauce, what do I mean by that? Find something that you're good at and repackage it. So in my case, there are so many marketing coaches out there, right? There are really big YouTubers out there providing marketing knowledge to people. They have like over 1 million subscribers. My sauce is that I'm starting from scratch. So I am a small business owner who's like literally just started last month. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have 10 followers on Instagram who are all my friends. That's my angle. And my another angle is that I used to be a marketing professor, so I know a thing or two about marketing. So I'm trying to sprinkle my knowledge into my content that I'm providing. So that's my differentiation. That's my package. So what you're trying to do here, you look at, okay, what are other people doing? What are my competitors doing? And see if you can make it a little bit better. Not a lot better, just a little bit better. In this case, I'm trying to provide knowledge that already exists out there, but break it down in a more digestible way and apply it to my own business step by step, so my audience can see how they can apply that to their own business as well. So find a way to serve your audience with purpose. If you're still thinking, okay, how about my website and my logo and stuff? When you know your core, your branding will come naturally. In my case, my business is called We Are Plover because I wanted to focus on codependence, mutual growth between my audience and myself. Like if they grow, I grow. I was talking to my folks actually. My mom described it as like, oh, it's like the relationship between the crocodile and the plover bird. So if you don't know what the story is, the crocodile offers a safe habitat for the plover to roost and nest while the plover cleans the crocodile's teeth and remove parasites. So once I had my core beliefs set, my branding concepts and my logo kind of like came naturally together. So at this stage, if you're just starting out, I would focus on getting your core really firm, really grounded. Otherwise, it's going to be all over the place. So what I'm trying to say is spend more time on the blueprint. When you're building a house, for example, if you don't have that blueprint, if you don't have like a solid foundation, no matter how pretty your house looks, if there's like a hurricane, it's gonna break down just like that. Once you have the blueprint set, you can then think about, okay, what's your website gonna look like, what's your logo gonna look like, and so on. Because, you know, I don't even have a website because that's not my goal. And that's the second thing. You have to get your goals in order first. So you have your core belief set, and then think about, okay, what's my goal? Life is funny because it always doesn't work out the way you planned. Um, so I don't have long-term goals. I'm just focused on getting my short-term goals met. But if you still think, but I want results now, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. I can't. That's what hacks are for. But again, if you keep following hacks, then you're never gonna learn how to fish. But if you're like me, if you wanna build something with purpose, if you wanna build something that lasts, then maybe give this channel a chance and we can grow together, right? So I'm gonna end it there because my camera battery is actually running low. So don't work too hard, live life, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.